vacated their homes.
Ini Mbah tujuan?
Dia keluar.
Ndek memes
siang itu.
Oh, enggak mau dia walaupun bagaimana.
Kecuali saya anak jadi kececeran, tukang pikir, tukang macam lemak, tukang rampok kan dari.
Iya, dia enggak mau anaknya mereka itu di kemudian hari berantakan jadi tukang parkir, jadi perampok.
Where once indigenous people were bought off with trinkets and baubles, today there are big dollars and offers of jobs.
Saya tidak mau pembangunan hotel di sini secara mendadak.
Oh, kenapa begitu?
Iya, jadi sedikit tidak mereka akan kehilangan pekerjaan juga sebagai petani di sini. Iya. Terus
bingung nantinya mau tinggal di mana begitu ya?
Iya, iya. Seperti contohnya juga kalau akan dibangun hotel misalnya di daerah Kutu sini, kan otomatis daerah pantai itu tidak boleh masyarakat mandi di daerah pantai itu.
Mudah-mudahan kedatangan itu akan membawa lebih banyak dan mereka juga supaya agar mengerti bahwa segi positifnya itu bahwa penyerapan tenaga kerja
budayanya tidak dirusak oleh kebudayaan asing. Boleh saja masuk kebudayaan asing tapi harus diserap yang baik-baik saja.
Hasil taninya dan hasil lautnya itu mereka jual ke pasar, tapi untuk hotel-hotel sendiri itu juga begitu ya. Kemudian penghasilan mereka bertambah itu di mana anak-anaknya juga dapat mereka sekolahkan.
It's an argument as old as time, but particularly relevant in Indonesia. In Indonesia, 10,000 babies are born every day, most to pribumi families, with an income of less than $15 a week. In Jakarta, as in third world cities everywhere, there's a growing problem of rural poor moving to the cities looking for work, opportunity, and excitement. What they arrive to is shanties like this. Some 30 million people live below the poverty line in Indonesia, and that's a statistic of success. It's half the number of 10 years ago, and in the same period, wages have gone up tenfold. For Rakhmat and others of Indonesia's new middle class, there are pressures that are unique to developing countries. If he passes his exam and wins the scholarship, Rakhmat will be away from his wife and family for 3 years, with no holiday at home to see his wife and 2 children. That's news he still hasn't broken.
Apa itu?
Oh, beasiswa luar negeri.
Ke negara mana itu?
Oh, ada yang Amerika, ada Jepang, ada Jerman sama Australia.
Jauh ya?
Ya jauh. Boleh nggak?
Seandainya pergi, jadi saya di rumah sama anak-anak ya?
Iya, boleh nggak? Ya terpaksa.
Tapi kelihatannya ya, Bapak ingin sekali kayaknya.
Ya kalau nggak ada masalah ya, itu memang cita-cita saya memang dari dulu mau sekolah dan ini ada kesempatan.
Cuma memang pasti banyak manfaatnya ya kalau memang sekolah ya.
Ya otomatis.
Cuma lama itu ya. Cita-cita terus memang harus di kantor. Ya dicoba aja barangkali.
Ya. Oke, terima kasih.
When Rakhmat graduated from university, he was the star of his family. A family that supported and encouraged him to work so hard. Born third in a family of 10, his mother and 9 brothers and sisters still live in a poor fishing village in East Java. His life, his work, the promise of a dynamic future could not be more different nor inspire him more.
In my village, we have no telephones and not enough electricity or water. Even if the children are bright, Their parents often don't have enough money to send them to middle or high school. By developing our technology, I want to save the poor people of my mother country, Indonesia. That is my dream, my responsibility.
It's a dream shared by the government, and by encouraging labour-intensive manufacturing enterprises and import substitution activities, it's a dream that is being realised. Even in the countryside, the image of Indonesia as a land of paddy fields is changing. The agricultural sector has been growing at a rate of around 3% a year, and big new export markets opened for Indonesian produce. Still, this pattern of development remains sharply at odds with the audacious approach of Baradin Habibie. The aircraft industry is seen by Minister Habibie as Indonesia's entree to a high-tech club, which till now has been the sole preserve of industrialized countries. His IPTN factory is already building planes of its own design and making parts for Messerschmitt helicopters, F-16 fighters, and Airbus airliners. Habibie acquired his expertise in Germany as a young man at the Messerschmitt Aircraft Company. Here, he had a meteoric rise to become vice president. Indonesia's President Suharto persuaded him to return to become government minister.
I hope that in the next century that Indonesia will be strong, not just in natural resources, but in human resources as well.
Habibie has powers almost unheard of in the West. He needs consult only President Suharto to get approval for any of his projects. Today, he's paying back that trust. Indonesia is to host a gathering of 100 third world leaders. Habibie is arranging for President Suharto to be able to show off to them his country's technological prowess.
Jadi kalau Bapak berkenan, kami siap mempersiapkannya mungkin 3 hari sampai 1 minggu dengan adanya field trips. Berarti mereka melihat pabrik industri tekstil, pabrik sepatu, sampai ke pabrik dirgantara, telepon, kapal dan sebagainya.
Diakui. Jadi dengan demikian juga mereka bisa melihat tidak hanya teknologi, yang menggunakan teknologi, tapi juga membangun sumber daya manusia di sampingnya sumber daya alam yang kita manfaatkan untuk mendukung pada industri tersebut. Itu saya kira.
Those human resources are impossible to ignore. The sheer weight of numbers that make for impressive parades have also made for many of Indonesia's problems. To turn population from problem to resource has been the priority of government since independence from the Dutch in 1945. Since then, Indonesia has only had 2 leaders. First, the charismatic and eccentric Sukarno. After 20 years of erratic leadership, he was replaced in a coup. He was held under house arrest and obliged to hand power over to a young Major General, Suharto. It's been Suharto himself who's provided the much vaunted stability that attracts foreign investment to Indonesia. He came to power with the help of the military, and the military still provides that pathway to power. Armed Forces Day provides an impressive picture of Indonesia's 400,000-strong army. But its firepower is not nearly as impressive as its numbers suggest. This hasn't, however, tempered the Indonesian army's intolerance of dissent, demonstrated most recently in East Timor. And it remains a major force on the domestic political scene. When President Suharto does relinquish his leadership, it will not be a question of whether or not a military man will succeed him, Just which one, and whether, like Suharto, he will work closely with business. Bob Hassan has profited handsomely from his close ties with the military. As chairman of the Plywood Association, it's said he has more power than the Minister of Forestry. When Hassan got into the timber business, Indonesia was selling logs to overseas corporations so they could make plywood. But in 1985, he persuaded the government to ban all unprocessed timber exports. Now, the plywood industry employs 15 million Indonesians, and the factories are making huge profits.
Jadi semua harus diperiksa yang betul ya. Iya tuh. Nah, kasih lihat nggak ada lubang kan. Bagus kan semuanya. Oke, jadi sebetulnya nggak ada limbah, semua dimanfaatkan jadi
100% jadi ini barang, termasuk sebagai bahan bakar, termasuk produk.
Hassan knows that if quality can be raised to meet international standards, then new export markets will open. And he knows he'll have the backing all the way along the line of President Suharto. Hassan first met Suharto when Suharto was still a troop commander. It was a time when soldiers openly ran businesses with Chinese merchants to augment army finances. As Suharto rose to power, his patronage helped gain logging licenses for Hassan and eventually helped give him de facto control over the industry.
I was able to come this far thanks to my military friends. I learned a lot from the now deceased hero General Yani and from General Suharto, now president. I feel that my present philosophy is based on ideas of those people who assisted me and helped me to mature.
As he matured under the guidance of his mentors, Bob Hassan also replaced this man as chairman of the Forestry Lumber Rights Holders Federation. He's Francois's father. On the island of Sulawesi, Francois is traveling to join his father at an important ceremony. His father is a chief of the Torajas, who still maintain their ancient culture. He's passed on to Francois Toraja traditions and passed on the lesson of the power of Chinese Indonesians in business that he learned at the hands of Bob Hassan.
Kita tetap menjalankan adat istiadat kita sebagaimana kita diajarkan oleh leluhur kita. Kepada anak-anak, nomor satu ditekankan, ajarkan kepada mereka bahasa Toraja yang baik. Saya harap saudara-saudara bawa pulang ini dan pelihara dan tingkatkan kepada anak-anak kita.
The ceremony taking place here is a prelude to a funeral. A village elder has died. But the main ceremony won't take place for 5 years, and then with 20,000 people attending. Until then, the body is kept in a cave and protected by wooden dolls called tautau. Francois and his family are rare among pribumis. They are rich, live in a lavish house, and have an established family company. But Francois wants more, for himself and for other pribumis. At his home in Jakarta, Francois has invited pribumi business associates to a meeting. All those gathered are young entrepreneurs dissatisfied with Chinese-Indonesian business domination. The aim of the meeting is to set up a form of chamber of commerce which would challenge that domination.
Kita lihat ini dari mulai zaman penjajahan Belanda. Belanda menjajah kita 350 tahun lamanya. kita memperoleh kemerdekaan. Kemudian pada awal abad 19 datang kawan-kawan pendatang apa dari Cina, apakah dari India, dan mereka mulai berdagang gitu.